I need to do around the house, but I wanted to stream and I wanted to be mobile at the same time. So while I'm doing things, I wanted to just get your thoughts about Bitcoin because I've been reading a whole lot of things about Bitcoin. And you guys know I'm not invested in Bitcoin. I've seen the price of it go up. I think it's a 35K right now, and that's kind of scary to me. The reason also why I'm not too big about, or why I don't focus about the thing, my visual, shall I say, is because I think a number of you guys just do your own thing and you watch my stream. It's not really like I'm doing anything that, you know, like it's not like I'm making stuff on stream or something, or repairing something on stream. Most of the time I'm just talking. I show the cat. So anyway, I was looking at Bitcoin today and I focused on it and I thought to myself, is the price sustainable or not? Now, my interpretation of this stuff, and this is just being an outsider looking in, I think that part of the reason, and I'd like to hear your thoughts as well, is the fact that if the dollar goes to crap, then Bitcoin is kind of like the fail-safe. So some people say the dollar will collapse, and then they think that if they invest in Bitcoin, then it's not like whatever money is in their account is going to be absolute crap. Kind of like a life vest. So I first heard about Bitcoin, I think around 2012, 2013-ish. Backstory, around that time it was $200, and I was dating a guy who was into this kind of stuff. He was really into computers. And then all of a sudden there was some conversation came up about Bitcoin. And I asked him about it. I was like, what is Bitcoin? And he told me, he gave me this really general overview about it. And my eyes kind of glazed over. Gotta be honest over here. And I thought, wait a second. So it's kind of like you get this stuff from the computer, and you mine it, and then you get some sort of like computer code or some kind of token of sorts, and it has value. And he was telling me about, and I forgot what it was. Was it Silk Road? I can't remember, but he was telling me how people who are affiliated with not so savory things were using this stuff on, I think Silk Road, was that the word for it? And the appeal of it is that it was untraceable. So Bitcoin was $200, and he shared me that he used to mine Bitcoin, and he had, I don't know how much Bitcoin, but unfortunately he stored it in Mt. Gox, and all his, they never knew the full amount of how much Bitcoin he had, by the way. He never told me, but it was gone. And then I told him, I said, hey, you know, maybe we could do that together, you know, because it's like he's into this stuff, and I don't know, you know, it would be maybe interesting. And he told me, he said, Erica, it's too late because Bitcoin is already $200. And that was the end of the conversation. His hardware setup or something like that, he was using some $5,000 server. I don't know how powerful that was back in 2012 or so, but I distinctively remember him telling me about the Mount Goxing. I also distinctively remember how crushed he looked like when he told me about you know, him doing stuff, him mining this stuff, and it just disappeared. So he didn't, from what I know, is he didn't restart mining Bitcoin. But who knows? Maybe he did. I don't know. So anyway, whenever I think about Bitcoin now, I kind of think like, okay, well, people back then probably invested in Bitcoin because Bitcoin was like a way to hold the value, like hold a monetary amount, and it's not trackable by the U.S. government. And then it had more appeal. And then when people started seeing the money go up, right, the price per Bitcoin go up, then they get onto this whole like train, like this whole hype train. And then when the economy goes down, you get people who see this kind of stuff, right? Especially people who maybe lost their jobs, or they're facing some financial hardship, and they see the gains of Bitcoin. And then they think, oh crap, I gotta invest my money in Bitcoin, you know, because Bitcoin. So I think I've always considered this, and you guys, like I said, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like you're buying a token, like a little coin, and you're banking that it holds value and people do not mass sell. It's just like you hope that people do not sell out in droves, and it just kind of maintains its value. If anything happens and people needed to get cash, the price would tank, right? I mean, like I think like for Bitcoin, like you have these little codes or tokens inside of your Bitcoin wallet, but at the end of the day, like what's the value behind it? I don't understand that. Like I think it's just market driven, but there's no numbers behind it. It's just like it's Bitcoin and it goes up, so therefore we should buy more Bitcoin. But I do recognize that we are in different times, and I think of it this way. I personally I did not feel comfortable getting, of course I don't feel comfortable getting Bitcoin at $35,000. I was actually talking to Lewis about that because he was telling me about the price of Bitcoin. He asked me, he said, Erico, would you ever spend $35,000 on a Bitcoin? And I said, no. Why would I spend $35,000 on a Bitcoin? That's the price of a car. That is the price of some houses, depending where you are in the country. I think if you go to Detroit, maybe you could buy 35 houses. But anyway, it's like I just feel like the people who invest in Bitcoin at $35,000 and $33,000, there's going to be some people who are really desperate and they think, I'm going to put all my life savings into Bitcoin because I know it's going up. I see it going up and it's guaranteed, and everybody's talking about Bitcoin. But what I don't see, and the thing that kind of troubles me is that, like, if you wanted to get cash for Bitcoin, I know they do have some of those like the kiosk. I've heard about those things in Japan, but it's like you don't hold on to the Bitcoin. I mean, like it's not like, how would I say it? It's not like a physical commodity. And then I worry, like some people keep it on those offline wallets. You know what I'm talking about, like the USB stuff. What if that thing gets stolen? What if the home there gets water damage or not? I know a person who knows another person who had something, a lot of Bitcoin, but they forgot their password. And they were heartbroken because it's like they have their Bitcoin, but they have like a number of Bitcoins, but they can't access it because they lost their password. And there are some people out there, it's just like they can't get past whatever password encryption, and so it's like those Bitcoins are last forever. So I just think I just kind of worry about that. I do think Bitcoin is going to go up. Personally, I told you guys like before, I thought Bitcoin was going to go up to 35,000. I really think it would go up to 40,000. I also think as the economy gets worse, depending on how people feel about the US economy, it might even go up to 50,000 or more. However, I also believe when the market recovers and then people feel comfortable using cash, or they'll be like, hey, I'm going to cash out my Bitcoin because I want to spend money, on a TV or something. It's, you're if you've invested like $30,000 in a Bitcoin, and if you start seeing the money drop down like 10%, you lose 3,000, and that's kind of scary. So I personally feel like if the market, or when the market recovers, which is going to be a matter of time, maybe not, this year, next year, maybe 2 years from now, there's going to be less appeal for Bitcoin. And that's just my thinking. I also know that some people claim that Bitcoin is going to be, $120,000 or so. There was this like time traveler person who believed that Bitcoin would be hitting $1 million. That would be a lot of people holding, and you have to find a lot of people invested in to hold into Bitcoin that long. Bitcoin is a little too volatile for me. Definitely a little bit too volatile. It would give me a heart attack. Like if I had to imagine myself holding on to one Bitcoin, right? If I had to imagine myself buying an entire Bitcoin for $35,000, and then one night it could drop $3,000 like that. Oh my gosh. And then you think about it in the back of your head, like, okay, it's not gold, it's not silver. If something happens and I You know, something happens to the computer, something happens to the wallet getting hacked, if I put in a USB drive and it gets water damage and I lose that, that's $35,000 down the drain. And it's not, I really don't believe this stuff is FDIC insured. If anybody steals from me, like the Mt. Gox thing, I don't think people were reimbursed for that, right? It was just like, oh, too bad, so sad. It is what it is. Yeah, start again. Because if it did pan out, I'm sure my ex would have gotten whatever bitcoins he had back. Because I don't know when the Mt. Gox thing happened, but I'm sure that happened before we started dating. But yeah, it's just kind of scary to me. So I want to know what your guys' thought about Bitcoin is. No, I mean, like, Bitcoin is not, it's not there's like so little Bitcoin left to mine, and it gets increasingly harder as more, you know, like as time goes on. Like before it was easy to get Bitcoin. They even had like those Bitcoin faucets of sorts, but now it's over 10 years, maybe 10, 13 years. I don't know when Bitcoin first started, maybe 2006, 2008ish. But yeah, it's increasingly harder. So I don't know how effective mining a Bitcoin would be. It'd probably take days, weeks, months, I don't know. And that would be a lot of electricity, as someone had mentioned. So yeah, I do think though that, and this is just my opinion, I do think that if you wanted to invest in Bitcoin for whatever reason, you could look into something like an ETF. I heard that there was an ETF, and this is not me shilling because I'm personally invested. This is me just mentioning it because it's a lot more freaking affordable than $35,000 for a Bitcoin. And if you think that Bitcoin is going to be going up, then maybe it's something that's a little bit more reasonable. I think there's let me find it out really quick. I don't know. My old MacBook. So there's this thing called a grayscale Bit Trust, GBTC, and I was looking at it, and it went up 11.47% today. Current price is $43.93. And I was looking at the chart. I was looking at like the 1-year chart. I was looking at like the 5-year chart. And personally, if you guys believe in Bitcoin, again, this is just my opinion. If you guys personally are thinking about buying a Bitcoin, I think it would be much safer to invest in like something like a GBTC instead. It just makes me really uncomfortable and really nauseous to think there are some people who are putting a lot of, you know, tens of thousands of dollars on this Bitcoin. And I'm afraid that for some people who go all in about Bitcoin, you know, of course, you know, I could be completely wrong. Bitcoin could go up to 100, 200,000, 500,000. But in the event that it drops and it drops substantially, there might be people who are like, oh crap, you know, I didn't expect my $30,000 investment to go back down to $15,000. And it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous to put money into a stock and then just like blindly go after a number without any financials behind it. So yeah, it's just, I know some people, they would say, well, you know, you should have like a healthy portfolio. You should have stocks, bonds, you know, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. There's so many cryptocurrencies out there. But it seems like the really only big ones would be what? Bitcoin, Ethereum, and if you're a meme stock, like that Dogecoin, that one. But other than that, you got like these penny cryptocurrencies, and if there's no demand, right, then no one's gonna buy it. And I know that there's a lot of cryptocurrencies out there, but a lot of them are useless because there's no buyers for it. If anybody wants to do Bitcoin, I mean any cryptocurrency, my thoughts is just do the big ones. You know, do Bitcoin. If you want Ethereum, if I felt comfortable tossing around money, I would just do Bitcoin and that's it. But no, actually, it would say how much. I take that back. Bitcoin's volatility scares me a lot because I've seen it where it just like drops, and I know if I was to buy Oh my gosh, it's so much money for Bitcoin. I mean, that's more expensive than, yeah, I think any other stock out there, right? But if like people were to buy a Bitcoin instead of, let's say, a car, and it's just scary. It's just scary. So I would rather do that GBTC thing instead. You might have less gains than Bitcoin, but if you have a 50% gain or 100% gain, it's not as scary as $35,000 on one Bitcoin. Yeah. Don't treat it like an investment. No, you know what? People should get into Bitcoin because they see it as an investment. If they wanted to get into gambling, they could gamble with a lot less money at, let's say, a casino or doing like online poker, online blackjack. My fear with the Bitcoin thing, and I could be wrong, is this: if you have people who are desperate times putting money into Bitcoin and they're just holding it and they're saying, I don't have that much money, but I'm going to take out all the money from my retirement account and put it all into like one or two Bitcoin instead. And for whatever reason, Bitcoin, if it like tanks down in value, I'm afraid some people are going to do some really permanent solutions for that. So, and then, like I said, Bitcoin is driven by consumer demand. So, for the crap coins out there, the coins that nobody hears about, there's a reason why they're so low. It's not because it's not the it's not because it's like an inferior blockchain, from my understanding. It's just like nobody knows about those cryptos, so nobody wants to invest in it. Yeah, you know what? Tech is not doing so well today, at least. I've noticed that. I think green energy is definitely going up. Um, I don't know. Maybe tech is just lagging. It's a little disappointing to me because like I see this, and you guys heard about the delisting of those three Chinese companies. I'm like, frick. Freaking Chinese stock, bad news again. So I know some people are invested into Neo. I heard, I saw a Chinese company, and I'm like, no, I don't want to deal with the Chinese company again. I've gone through so much like ups and downs with Alibaba and JD that the thought of including another Chinese company into my stock portfolio scares me a lot. So it's like a rock and a hard place because I feel like JD will really go up in value over the next 2 or 3 years, but it's going to be definitely very, very rocky. Backstory: I bought JD back in like 2018, and then the CEO got arrested, some kind of charges. You guys can look it up. And then the stock dropped to $20, more than half down from my original price. And I felt sick because I thought to myself, like, this is one of my biggest holdings. It's actually my biggest holding besides Amazon. And then just seeing that, I was like, how could this happen? How could this happen with this stock that I bought? How could the CEO be in an orange jumpsuit? So instead of averaging down, which I should have done, in hindsight is 2020, I felt too scared. So I just held it. I held on to it, and I was just holding diamond hands. And from what I think, my buy price was like $47, and then now it's like at 90, it's like 87 to $91. So when it hit, I think 94 yesterday or so, I had a gut feeling I should sell. I had a gut feeling it would go down again because it's the curse of just down. But yeah, I didn't, and then it's back at the 87 range. Part of it is due to the stupid news about Chinese stocks. Whenever there's any bad news about Chinese stocks, it always just freaking goes down. And but I just gotta remember, Erica. Erica, your stock went up. It's just disappointing because I was hoping that it would break out. JD has investments with Google and Walmart, and they really are in a great company. It's a Chinese company, so it has kind of like the odds stacked against them. And I didn't understand why JD went down so much today, because it wasn't listed as one of those three companies that could possibly be delisted. But I can only imagine that because it has a reputation of being just down, and because it was a Chinese company, it went down. Yeah. Yeah, you can buy fractional. You can buy fractional. Yeah, Sonia. I think like what from what I see is like green energy is definitely going to be a really strong um a really strong stock for at least January. A lot, because Biden is very into green energy, and people expect him to pass all this like green legislation. So that's why a lot of these like solar companies are getting like a bump right now. I don't know how long it's gonna last, but some solar companies have gone up a lot the last 2 or 3 months, and yeah, for me, I shared with you guys like I felt like a total idiot because I was looking at ICLN. You can look that up. iClean, I believe, ICLN, and I saw that stock too. I saw that ETF 2 months ago, and I was staring at it, and I was like, "Frick, I don't wanna put any money into it because yeah, it's like I felt like I had a pretty good portfolio, but yeah, it was just going up, and then I didn't like one of my stocks, so I sold about half of it, and then I put the money into I put it into ICLN. I think, was it today? Yeah, I think it was today that I put it in, and then I also put it into this like meme stock that unfortunately dropped a bunch of percent, but yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It might balance out. Yeah, so I just kind of worry about the Bitcoin thing. I really do. I just think that there might be people who see Bitcoin as their salvation, but if you don't have a way for people, you know what I'm saying? Like because of there's so much volatility, it's gonna be sickening to people if let's say they buy it at $35,000 and then 6 months later it drops to let's say $17,000, or maybe it goes up to 35,000, it goes up to 50,000, and then from there it drops back to $35,000. That's the dangerous thing about Bitcoin. And I know some people would think that I'm being backwards or I'm being old fashioned, but the volatility is very real about Bitcoin, at least from what I see. And I don't, it just kind of scares me. It scares me thinking there are people who are pouring money into Bitcoin right now. And then if it tanks, these people are going to say, crap, I didn't want to lose that money. Like it gives them anxiety at the thought of them losing like 10%, 15%, 20% in one day. So, and those people will panic. So, right? If panic a really quick way for them thousands of dollars, and I don't know if they're comfortable with Bitcoin after if they feel like they're getting burned. Yeah, I remember reading back in the day, like there were some people who were taking out loans for Bitcoin. I think this happened a couple years ago, and then they were banking all their money on Bitcoin, and then they lost money, and then when it came down to repayment, their loan situation didn't because Bitcoin went down. So I'm sure there's people who are taking out loans or who are cashing out retirement accounts or wiping out their savings account or taking out like a huge chunk of money trying to get on the Bitcoin train. But yeah, this is some scary stuff. Yeah, you know what? I mean, like Dogecoin, I was looking into that today. I think right now it's like at a penny, 0.01, yeah, like 1 penny. I don't see anything wrong with investing in that. You could buy like $100, right? And then if it goes up to $1, you get what, $1,000, something like that. I forgot. I don't know. Anyway, I'm terrible with math. I'm really terrible with math. But you know what I'm saying? Like you have less risk with that Dogecoin instead of Bitcoin. So if I had to put money on cryptocurrency right now, and let's say it's like I felt comfortable putting money on cryptocurrency, I would put my money on Dogecoin rather than Bitcoin because I feel like I would get more bang for my buck with this meme stock, and there's more chance of the meme stock going up to $1 than Bitcoin, because you have to think. I think about it this way, right? What's more affordable for people right now? Definitely a one like a penny Dogecoin is a lot more affordable than a $35,000 Bitcoin. So if you believe in the whole coins running up thing, then yeah, Dogecoin is a better. I think it's a better investment if you're thinking about your how many percentage returns you can make. So, yeah, you can put in like I don't know what the requirements for that put in like $10 and end up with a whole bunch with 1,000, right? $100, yeah, 10, yeah, like 1,000 Dogecoins, and then maybe if it goes up to $1, instead of your $10 investment turns into $1,000. So that I think is not bad. Also, Elon Musk, everybody loves Tesla. He's been talking about that, and he was joking, I think, on his Twitter, saying he's the CEO of that company. He's not, by the way, but with these kind of cryptocurrencies, I think it's all about visibility. And with the people who are fanboys of Elon Musk, and I'm not gonna like shed on Tesla, because they do make some really incredible things. However, we all can admit that the Elon Musk fanboys are definitely real. But yeah, those people were definitely buying that cryptocurrency because Papa Elon is talking about that, and yeah, I think the price of that coin will go up. So my personal thought is, yeah, unless you're like making big bank or you're very risk averse, just buy some Dogecoin for a penny, and if you lose like $100 or $200, that's a lot better than losing $35,000 or more than $35,000, right? Because one Dogecoin is one penny, and the one Bitcoin is $35,000, which is an insane amount of Dogecoin. I can't do the math right now, but 35,000 times 100 equals that equivalent Dogecoin that you could get for one Bitcoin. Yeah, Henry brings up a good point. Yeah, you can at least do something with gold. Yeah, gold will always be a valuable commodity. The scary thing I think about Bitcoin is because it's so, you guys heard about like that tulip mania. I know people are gonna be like, oh my god, you're a good tulip mania. It was like that whole thing where they believed like tulips were really valuable, and then it kind of the bubble burst, and yeah, that's what people were thinking about Bitcoin. I think that I can't really say if Bitcoin's going to be like tulip mania, because this is a lot more expensive. I mean, this has gone out of control in terms of Bitcoin, but there really needs to be systems in place to kind of regulate Bitcoin. I may be misinterpreting it, but I don't think the people that Satoshi guy, he thought Bitcoin was ever going to get up to 35,000. I think that he probably thought it was like a cutesy idea, but like the individual Bitcoin wouldn't have been so big, because now the scary thing about Bitcoin is that if someone is going into Bitcoin, let's say now, right, at $35,000, and then they're having these gains, let's say Bitcoin goes up to, I don't know, $75,000 of Bitcoin. I really, really, really don't think it's going to get that high, but let's just say it goes up to $75,000 of Bitcoin. It's going to be very apparent who is like wealthy and who's not wealthy, right? Because it's like, if you have Bitcoin, then you are considered to be very wealthy. But if you don't have Bitcoin, then you are just with, the low regular plebs who have USD. So yeah, I don't know. It's just like I see Bitcoin as a way to divide people even more in terms of like income, because then you could say, well, I have Bitcoin and you don't. So yeah, and if Bitcoin goes up, then you're gonna have less people out there having Bitcoin. It's not like everyone's going to be having a whole entire Bitcoin. You can have like fractional shares of Bitcoin, but yeah, it's just so. Actually, wait, I take that back. I did invest into Bitcoin, but it was only like $100, and this was back when Bitcoin was like $7,000. This was a couple years ago, but I did invest in it, but my ex has my little investment, and I don't know what he did with it. He can just whatever. But it's just like, talking about that, I learned a really good lesson from that. So so when Bitcoin hit $7,000, I wanted to get into crypto, but I didn't have a wallet, so the USB thing, right? And then So, and I know you guys are going to give me crap about this, but I'm going to share it with you guys anyway. So, I didn't have a crypto wallet, and I didn't know how to set one up. And because we were dating for over a year, I said, hey, can I write you a check for $2,000 and can you buy me cryptocurrency? And then I think he got me, I forgot what it was. It was like Ethereum or Bitcoin. I can't remember. I know I actually asked him for both. But it was like small amounts. I think it was like $100 and one $200 for another. So, right, $2,000 minus, let's say, $300 of cryptocurrency. That leaves like $1,700 of crypto. I mean, not crypto, of left over. So, yeah, it's like I remember that I had asked him like a few times, like, okay, I gave you a check for $2,000. What is my cryptocurrency holdings? And then he would tell me like, oh yeah, I know it, but it's somewhere over there. And I know he bought a wallet for it. I know he had like the USB stuff. So, yeah. And then after we broke up, it's like he like never like brought it up, or he never talked about letting my money or something like that. And now it's like I look back at it and I'm like, yeah, I know Bitcoin is at $36,000, and yes, that would be my $100 investment in Bitcoin would be what, like what, five times more would be $500. And then my Ethereum, I don't know what the Ethereum price is right now. I think it's 900. I'm not too sure, but yeah, it's like that $2,000 investment. He never like brought it up with me, or like it like mention that kind of thing. And now it's like I'm in this uncomfortable position because like I know his how would I say this? Like I don't know if he needs the money. Just being very candid here, right? Like I don't know if he needs the money. So although I do have the right to ask for the Bitcoin back or the Ethereum back, or my money, that $2,000, it's like I'm kind of apprehensive of bringing it up for that, because of the it's like you don't really want to ask that kind of stuff. But or maybe he'll just say like he forgot, I don't know. So maybe I could talk to him about that. But yeah, it's just one of those like uncomfortable positions. So anyway, point being is that if you ever invest in something, learn from my mistake, and then get your own Bitcoin wallet, get your own portfolio, stock portfolio, get your own USB little thingy majingy. Because what I have learned is that when you give someone money, even if that person is someone that you're dating, it can be very uncomfortable for them to like talk to you about that kind of stuff. So it's you see what I'm saying? Like it's like, yeah, it's just awkward. So but yeah, I have every right to ask for that money back, or at least the original 2000. Say, hey, you know what, if you want to keep the Bitcoin, you want to keep the Ethereum, you can. But yeah, it's just gonna be like one of those like uncomfortable situations. Yeah, it was like I know he got one of those like USB thingy majings. I don't even know if he lost the USB thing. I didn't. I thought about getting into I thought about making my own wallet, like with I forgot what was some of those business exchanges. But the reason why I didn't go with that is because it's like they wanted my social security number, and I was like, frick, I don't feel comfortable giving my social security number for stuff like that. Like I just wanted to buy Bitcoin, that was it. I didn't want to go through this whole like send your ID, send this and that. So yeah, I don't know. I think it was like I might be remembering wrong, but I think it was like $90. You can buy it off Amazon or so. But yeah, it was just like one of those things where even if you're dating someone, even if you think that they're trustworthy, once you give money to a person, it can be very difficult getting that money back, even if you're dating them, because it's like sometimes like when you hand people money, especially if they're not like the most financially savvy, if you ask for that money back, and this is personal experience, right? Um, from what I've seen from other individuals is that they might see you as an enemy. Like, how dare you ask for your money back? I shared with you guys, like, I know this one person, they were in a lot of credit card debt. They were in $20,000 of credit card debt, and their relative kindly decided to give them money to pay off their credit card debt. $20,000, okay? And this person wasn't like super rich, but they wanted to help out their relative. So they gave this person $20,000, and there was understanding like, hey, you know what? Pay me back in payments. Do you know what happened? He didn't pay back his relative. Why? Because it was just like, oh, well, I need that money more than you need that money. And there was this whole idea like, if someone can lend $20,000, then that means they don't really need the money. So it's like that wrong kind of thinking, and seeing that hearing that said to me, I just kind of thought like, yeah, it's like if you give someone money, never ever expect to get it back 100%, because even if it's your money, you're gonna have people who say, oh yeah, I know that's your money, but I'm more in need than you are, and I can give you that money back, but I don't want to give you that money back because yeah, I deem that I need the money more than you since you lent me money, and I don't want to put myself in a worse position, so I'm keeping your money. You see? So yeah, that just kind of it's like I thought about it. I was like, yeah, your relative is not like making big bucks over here. It's just like they wanted to help you out. But this kind of stuff happens, and I think with what's going on in the economy, we're going to see more of this kind of thinking. So if you want to help out anybody financially, just know that you will probably never see that money again, because money can change a person's outlook, and it can change how a person acts dramatically, and I have seen that several times. Another personal story is, I know people who will reach out to grieving relatives and say things like, oh yeah, I know your loved one just passed away, but I'm in credit card debt, and I want you to pay off all my credit card debt because I know you took out life insurance on that person. And there was a situation that I heard this kind of stuff, and I was pissed off. Hold on. I was pissed off when I heard about it, because I thought to myself, how dare you go into someone's life, and then when you hear about someone's passing, you go in there like a freaking leech and like say like, yeah, it's I'm so sorry to hear that let's say your husband passed away, but I just wanted to let you know, as your husband's uh brother, like, I'm having financial difficulties, and I was wondering if you could help me out. And then you ask them how much money they want, and they're like, oh yeah, I have credit card debt, can you loan me $10,000 or $20,000? And if someone is in grief, they might be prone to helping out people like that, because they will say, well, that is one of the connections I have to my loved one. So you can imagine, like, a widow, right? A woman, if her husband passed away and then the husband's brother reaches out saying they need help, she might not be on guard. She might be like, oh well, he's related to my husband, so I should help him out. And you know what, I do have a life insurance policy on him, so yeah, I'm gonna help him out. I'm gonna help him with all his credit card debt. And yeah, so I there was a situation like that I was witness to, and I was pissed off, when I heard about that, because I thought that is such a vile, shitty thing to do. And but yeah, because of grief and because of family relations, this person was given money lent out as a loan, and over the years, I got to hear things like, "Oh yeah, I wanna talk to them so I can repay them back." And it's like I'm trying to reach out to them, and I'm like, "Well, you know what? You can easily say stuff like you want to reach out to them to pay them back. Why don't you just cut a check and send it in the mail, right? Why don't you just like show up to their front door, and instead of talking about paying them back, just do it." So if you guys have any loved ones that pass away, please be wary about that kind of stuff, because life insurance policies, I know some of them are, some of them can be very lucrative. Some people have like 250,000, 500,000, $1 million life policies. If people get wind of how much that policy is, or if they have like a sneaking suspicion, like maybe they think like, oh yeah, this person has a life insurance policy, then they might target the grieving person and then see that as their opportunity to get cash. And it is a scumbag move. I can't respect that. And it being witness to certain things is like it's active on how I view death. When someone passes away, you definitely have to be on guard about um, people asking for money. Take a step back and say, why didn't that person ask me for money before? It's because they didn't think of you as a financial windfall of sorts, right? It's just like now they think, oh, someone died. Okay, that person must have cash. The surviving person must have cash. So this is a good time to ask for money. So yeah, be very cautious about that. And it's definitely, if someone passes away, grief can work finders, and you don't want to give out money during a period of grief and then end up as being taken advantage of, because you got uh, all these people preying on you and saying like, yeah, well, can't you give me some money too, or I want some money too, and I want some, I have credit card debt too, and yeah, you get what I'm saying? Like you'll probably never ever see that money again. And if you ask for money again, it might cause some resentment. So you could say, yeah, I lent you $10,000. You remember like how you could say something like, hey, that $10,000 that I lent you because my husband passed away. Yeah, I would like that money back. And then the the relative that you lent the money to, right, your husband's brother, could say, oh yeah, sorry, I can't give you any money because times are tough, or oh yeah, I just, yeah, I can't, I'm sorry. And it could be like 10 years down the line, 5 years down the line. It's like nobody want to give that money back. I'm not nobody, but most people will not want to give that money back, because they'll be like, hey, I got $10,000 in one easy shot just by asking for it, and that person probably doesn't need the $10,000 because they lent it to me. So yeah, I'm gonna deem myself more worthy of keeping it. And yeah. So be very 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 mindful of that. And just I know, like, I don't know how old you guys are, the people who are listening in, but I'm sure that you guys have heard, especially if you're like in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, you guys have either experienced this, or you guys know of other people personally who have experienced this kind of stuff. And I really have no respect for that kind of stuff. It's like, of all the times you could ask for freaking money, it's when someone passes away and that person's in a lot of pain because they're grieving. And it's a scumbag thing to do. And but when a person is grieving, that's really that pull on heartstrings. Like, I know you're grieving, but maybe your husband would have, helped me out when he was alive, and I've been having financial hardship, so I want you to help me out. And then sometimes if you give one payment, then it ends up into multiple payments, and depending on how the person is, it's like they will just bleed you dry. They will bleed you dry as much as they can, and they will not show any remorse for it, because they will see it as, how dare you ask for your money back? Yeah, I don't. It's not like I don't believe in giving money. You know, if you want to give out money, then go right ahead, but just don't shoot yourself in the foot for it, okay? Because I know, okay, I know some people they will give, they will be so freaking charitable, they will risk their own financial stability, and that's not right. I have, it's like I have seen people who give, and then they think like, oh, they're doing such a great thing. Oh yeah, they want to give, keep giving to people, and then what do? They shoot themselves in the foot because the more that they give, right? It's like if they're not like in a really good financial position, they can set themselves up for failure, and put themselves in kind of like a precarious situation when they need money. And listen to this. If the giver needed money, most likely the people they gave money to won't really help them out. They'll be like, oh, yeah, I'm sorry that you have financial difficulties, but I can't help you out. I know that you gave me, let's say, $5,000 over the year, and I know that you just lost your job, but I can't help you out. I'm sorry. It's yeah. So just you got to put your foot down. Like I know some people would be like, "Oh, they don't want to be seen as the jerk. They don't want to be seen as the asshole if anything happens." But you do not want to cause stress to yourself, undue stress just because you got some taker. I don't know anybody who would refuse an offer of money if they were given money. Like if it's like, oh yeah, I'll give you $200. How many people would decline it if it was like a free gift? Nobody would, right? Nobody would take a step back and think, huh, I wonder if that person's in a financial position really to give me money. They wouldn't think about it. They'd just be like, oh, okay, well, I guess this person is Mr. Moneybag. So I'll just take the money. And it saddens me because it's like I know people back when I was in Hawaii. They were such kind, generous souls. I have nothing bad to say about them, okay? But people would take advantage of them. They would hit them up like a money tree. They would hit them up like a money tree, and then it's like hard for them to put their foot down because they'll be like, yeah, I know that I shouldn't give them money, but they I've known them for such a long time, or they're nice people, so I'm gonna keep giving them money, and yeah, I'm just gonna cut my own expenses because yeah, I want to help them out, and yeah, it's like why the would you do that? Why would you do that for someone who isn't going to pay you back your money? You get what I'm saying? Yeah, so I would only give after if I feel comfortable with myself, right? You don't want to be one of those people. It's like you look at your account. Let's say you have $1,000 in your account, and you're like, okay, well, my so and so, my friend says they're late on this, and my other friend says I need that. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna give them like $700, and then I'm gonna just live off the $300, and I'm just gonna cut my own expenses so I can help out these two individuals. And it's like, and then right next month they ask them for the same amount of money because those two individuals might think, oh wow, look at this person, man, they gave me $350 in 1 month, man, they must be rich, and then man, they have to be loaded. Yeah. So yeah, just don't do that shit. Gotta watch out for yourself. You gotta set hard limits, and if you don't know to a person, it's not. You're not being a jerk for it, okay? You don't have to. This is not like a socialist thing, right? You don't have to like. You don't have to be like, okay, I'm gonna give this out for free and this out for free. Like people do not. I don't like it when people feel like they have to give something to someone just because they asked. It is obviously like up to one's own choice, and it just like I said, I've known people who it's like they give, and then they set themselves up for a crappy situation. Something happens, and then they're not prepared for it because they gave a lot of money away to people who never gave them back their money. And then you also cannot like if someone is, let's say that, here's another example, right? Let's say someone has a some sort of like addiction, right? and then they are, or let's say they're a spendaholic, right? So they have like a shopping addiction, they always go shopping and they rack up credit card debt. You might think like you're helping them out by paying off, let's say, their $1,000 credit card debt, but you can also be enabling them as well. So some people would say like, oh, my friend has a shopping addiction, and they just they couldn't help themselves, so I want to pay off their credit card debt and then get on the right foot, and then they get more credit card debt, and then you give them more money, and then what you're doing, you're just enabling them to go out to go shopping. So sometimes, depending on the person, I really feel like you got to let them fall on their ass. I'm not saying like if they're on homelessness, like it's like don't help them out. What I'm saying is that if they have all these expenses that they aren't taking control of, that they can definitely cut down the fat, like you should not be enabling that. Like if someone is like saying like I'm always broke, and then you find out they're partying at a club every single week, right? You do you really want to fish them out of that situation? No, because then you're going to end up as a piggy bank. So yeah, it's just like I know I know like the some people, it's like they just allow people to walk all over them. I know parents are parents do this, and it's understandable why, but for people that are not your family, for people that are like not your kids, really you shouldn't just let someone like bleed you dry, especially not for like I said, kids or parents. I can see that draining out money, but yeah, just you got to make sure you have a limit, because you don't want to put yourself as you don't want to put yourself in a dire financial situation because you did not have a safety net for yourself. Okay, I see that Drew's getting hit up for money. Sonia, I gave away most that I had, and then people demanded more. I said, screw that. I only feel give what I'm able, but keep me for now in the future. Exactly. I'm not against giving. I'm not against giving at all, but you have to put in limits. You got to watch out for yourself. Ah, look at Drew's. I checked my wallet and I only found cobweb. Sorry. Now you know what you should ask, Dusha? Can I have your wallet at least? Even if there's nothing inside, can I have your wallet? Because maybe you'll refill it with some cash in the future. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But yeah. Yeah. So and then there's like misconceptions about sometimes, like sometimes, like, right. Um, but yeah, if you want to personally avoid people asking you for money, all you have to do is just like put your foot down, and if they know that you're a frugal person, 99% of the time people will not ask you for money, because they'll be like, well, if they're not even spending the money on themselves, then I'm not going to get the money they're not going to get money, period. So yeah, it's like, yeah, I shared with you guys about like that one person in my life. They asked me, hold on. I shared with you guys in my life like this one person who spent their college semester money on a Louis Vuitton handbag, and then they asked their boyfriend for money, and the boyfriend never gave them money, and then they asked me for money, and then I basically chastised them about them being an idiot. And then they're like, Erica, you can't tell me what to do with my money. And then that's like the last time we spoke. I was like, okay, well, I thought one of the things about being a friend is you gotta try to watch out for another person financially, or try to steer them away from something if you see like a danger pit. But they didn't want to hear my 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 warning. And I don't know how they're doing financially, but if the spending continued, probably not very well. Again, a lot of this stuff, a lot of these, like, here's my thinking, like, you do not want to be like, I know people would say like, oh, Erica, you're on team Apple, you're such an Apple fangirl. I like having one Apple product, but I definitely focus more on being investing into Apple rather than being a big spender for Apple products, especially when my last Apple purchase for a MacBook was in 2012. You get what I'm saying? And yeah, it's like I think it's important for people to not really focus on being consumers, not lavishing themselves up with designer this or designer that or expensive and stuff here and there, but focus more on growing whatever they have inside of their account. Or just growing money. I think that if people, and this is why I don't think the stock market is going to fail, contrary to what some people think, because like if I apply the Bitcoin logic behind stocks, a lot of these companies will not be going bankrupt if they have like hype behind them. So like Tesla, for instance, right? Tesla's stock is overvalued. I think basically all of us can agree on that. But you got people who are like, oh, they don't care about the financials or anything. They're like, Tesla, 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 Tesla. People, there's just too much money inside of the stock market for it to fail. The government will not allow it to fail because if the stock market failed, that would be catastrophic for the economy. Yeah, so if anything happens to the economy and the stock market goes down, 100%, I have zero doubt. I have zero doubt that the economy, that the stock market will recover. Now I can't talk about the economy, but I'm sure that um yeah, I can't talk about the economy, but I'm sure that the stock market will have a cash flow injection just like it did last year. Yeah, Jay Powell kind of just turned on the money printer and saved the stock market. So it's going to happen again if anything in place to feed money into Bitcoin if Bitcoin fails, in my opinion, because you have no numbers behind it. It's just one of those like hype, buy Bitcoin. Yeah, government, you can take it off, and if it grows, like you can cash it out and the government won't find out. I don't know how that's going to work because a lot of these wallets, they require you to have your social security number. And I'm sure that if you're trading on like Coinbase or something like that, they will know that let's say you sold $35,000 worth of Bitcoin. So you're going to be taxed on it. It's not like Uncle Sam's not going to find out. So, yeah, I don't understand the appeal of Bitcoin now that I think about it. Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, here, let me remove this really quickly. There you go. You get to see Mr. Oreo Cat here. Oh my goodness. I'm getting notifications on my phone. I'm sorry for you guys if you hear that buzzing. I can't get rid of it. So yeah, I'm scared of inflation. No phase. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't feel comfortable buying cryptocurrency. If I buy any cryptocurrency, it would be Dogecoin, DOGE. 1 penny coin. I feel comfortable investing at that amount. Not $35,000 per coin or that Grayscale ETF, GBTC. Yeah. So maybe I'll look into it in the future. Maybe I won't. But yeah, it just scares me. $35,000 Dogecoin. The one with the Shiba Inu, that one. I heard about it for the longest time, you guys, too. Yeah. So at least I could say, hey, for $1, I got like 100 of them, or 90 of them. I don't think it's exactly like 1 cent, but like 90 of them for $1. And then maybe if it goes up, my $1 investment goes up to $90, right? One Dogecoin goes up to $1 instead of 1 penny. Yeah, that's numbers that I think is a little bit more like if you believe that crypto is going to be a big thing, then you should go with things that maybe don't have the same same money behind it, like Bitcoin, but find like the cheaper option. Because if people really believe in Bitcoin, right, like they should be comfortable with the other cryptos as well, Ethereum, Dogecoin, Dogecoin, whatever that is, because it's like it's like the similar thing, or it's the same thing. So yeah, that's another scary thing, right? It's like, okay, so if I think about this like currency, right, does that mean like Bitcoin's I don't know, like something like say $900, like 30 times more valuable than Ethereum. Is that how the pricing is working right now? Like I can't imagine any currency where one currency is so superior than the other currency, right? Because like you got the U.S. dollar that people have a lot of value on, but it's not like the Korean won or like the Chinese yuan or the Canadian, the Canadian dollar is that below USD. So it's strange that Bitcoin is at 35,000, and then you got Ethereum at 900, and then you got the other ones at like pennies or so. So I don't get it. I really don't get it. If you had like maybe five currencies and then that was it, and then people just kind of invested on that, I could understand it, or just one crypto. But when you have like thousands of cryptos, I know there's more than 100 cryptocurrencies out there, but when you have so many freaking cryptocurrencies, in my opinion, the only reason that Bitcoin is superior than the other coins, like the coins that we've never heard of, maybe there's like a Disney coin out there, or um, you know um, um, cat coin out there that you guys have never heard of and I've never heard of, is because of name visibility. So everybody's just banking on the Bitcoin name, and that's it. Yeah. So, but yeah, if you guys can tell me the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum and Dogecoin, or any of these other coins, is it like Bitcoin has more security than the other coin? Is that how it works? Because I don't know. But for my, well, if I take other currency, it's really weird that we only have one big currency, and then all the other currencies are like vastly behind Bitcoin. Like nothing like that with like US dollars or Australian dollars or Canadian dollars has such a big disparity. Hyperinflation, like yeah, like that kind of stuff, like Zimbabwe dollars, like yeah, I can see that, but it's like the Bitcoin thing or the Ethereum thing isn't because of hyperinflation. It's just because everybody bought onto the Bitcoin hype train. So that's um that's why I'm concerned about Bitcoin crashing. And then I would say, if you believe really in cryptocurrency, unless I'm telling you guys something wrong, or unless I'm interpreting things wrong, just invest in Dogecoin instead. It's only 1 cent for one coin. You could get like, maybe it's more than 1 cent, but you could get like 90 coins or 100 coins for $1. And then yeah, it's like if it goes down a little, you're not gonna be worried about it too much. You could put like $1,000 on there, $100 or $10 on there. It's not gonna sting you as much, like a $35,000 coin going down in value, right? A 1 cent coin going down in value is not gonna make you cry. A $35,000 coin going down in value is gonna make you cry. Okay, so Bitcoin is the rich, unlimited quality. There will always be forever 21 million. Yeah, but not everyone's going to be able to have a Bitcoin, right? Because if I thought about cryptocurrency, I would think like, okay, if you want the whole society to encompass it, ideally everybody wants to hold one Bitcoin, or $1, or one full unit of currency. And then if people can't even get like one full coin, I just see it kind of like, okay, so how can you expect that many people to be able to trade Bitcoin, unless you're assuming everyone's just going to be okay with fractional shares. And then the fractional shares things is kind of scary, because it's like, okay, so you have like a little bit of the Bitcoin, and yeah, it's just like a little slice. Actually, you know what, Nick? I disagree with you there, because I think that if you have people who want to buy Bitcoin, they say, oh, okay, I can't afford Bitcoin, but let me Dogecoin, and then you got some celebrities who are like, I want to buy Dogecoin too. The price of Dogecoin is going to go up. You know, maybe from 1 penny to 2 pennies or something like that. But um, yeah. So if you want to move over people to other cryptocurrency, there needs to be an affordable option, not $35,000 Bitcoin option. But yeah, so anyway, I don't know how many of you guys have Bitcoin, but my thinking is 35,000. That's way too freaking expensive. I think that I really hope that people go into like other cheaper cryptocurrencies because yeah, if they believe in it, I really do believe that people should be able to buy more than like one freaking sliver of it and not at $35,000 a piece. If they're banking it on it being an investment, that's kind of risky because it's like you can't even you're just gonna say I have like a sliver of it and I'm hoping this sliver of 35,000 increases in value. And or maybe I'm just old fashioned and I'm just so used to the idea of having like one coin to yourself, like having $1 to yourself. But it's just yeah. Because like when I think about a coin, I think about like the whole thing, not like a little slice of a single coin. Yeah, I think if people are kind of like priced out of Bitcoin, then you might have people who go off to like cheaper currencies, like maybe Dogecoin over there, and then be like, yeah, we can't afford the Bitcoin, but let's prop up the value of Dogecoin, and then maybe it'll go up to $1 or $10 or $20, and I really hope that people inflate that crypto. Something else, like I don't really know too much about cryptocurrency, but I do know like there's Bitcoin, there's Ethereum, I think there's Litecoin too. There was also some like Bitcoin Gold or something. Maybe I'm just imagining it, but yeah, it's like when I think about that kind of stuff, I'm like, for frick's sake, you can't have so much cryptos out there. Wait for a dip, but how long is the dip going to be though, right? I think that Bitcoin will always have value on it, but like I said, if when the economy gets better, when people actually want to cash out, then what's going to happen to Bitcoin? Um, do people just treat Bitcoin as like some sort of holding, and then you just hold on to it, and then when you know stuff hits the fan, then that's when you cash out, or is it like an emergency fund? So yeah, it's just like I don't feel comfortable with the whole idea of like holding on to something that's so freaking valuable and then just knowing what like just seeing it going like up and down and up and down and up and down. It's just tens of thousands of dollars like that. Bitcoin is projected to be 100 to 300K by the end of the year. It's only an app to continue to hold until then. And then you also have to have like increased demand for it. So will it go up to 100K or 300K a year? I don't know. I don't know. I'm already surprised like cuz it was from what? Let's see. I remember at like one point it was like 7,000, 10,000, and then it went up to 20,000, and now it's at 30,000. So it definitely could go up to 40,000. But I sense that if there's peace, there's peace going on, then and there's more. How would I say this? There's not so much worry in the economy. Then I think Bitcoin would go down. So anyway, I gotta get going. Um, I need to go over and work out. So I will talk to you guys later. But yeah, let me know in the comment section what you guys think about the whole Bitcoin thing. Andrea thinks it's gonna go up to 100 to 300K. I've read about that kind of stuff too. But I just, I just kind of think like it's just a bunch of computer code. I'm like, okay, I understand that, there's just like, you can't hold on to it. You're gonna, if you keep it on some sort of wallet or some sort of like hard drive or something like that, right? There's a chance you're gonna lose it. Like if the data becomes corrupted or something, I'm just like, ugh, ugh. Like I remember I heard something like, there was this guy who, this was like years ago, right? Over 5 years ago. He had his Bitcoin on a hard drive, and then he put it in a drawer, and then when he cleaned the drawer, he mistakenly threw out the hard drive, and because he threw out the hard drive, it ended up in I believe it was the UK or the Australian landfill. And yeah, it's just like it would have been something like over $100 million, if I'm correctly, but I might be remembering it wrong. And it's just like, yeah, it's like, what if whatever you're storing it on gets lost, or what if it gets corrupted or something like that? Because some people, they don't want it, they don't feel comfortable keeping it on an exchange, right? They want to keep it into that little USB thing. So yeah, it's just that's what I think. And then I also think about like, what if you get hacked or something like that, and then they can transfer into the wallet. I was reading up about some people. They said that they were downloading programs for cryptocurrency, right? And then they would exchange it from like their Coinbase wallet into, or like some wallet into like another wallet. And then during there, it's like some of these apps that they use, there was concern like the app took their coins, and it's like it never reached them. So it's like you're transferring it from one wallet to another, and depending on who the app developer is, you don't know if this person is gonna possibly take your coin, and then it's just gonna disappear. Like, yeah, well, that's what happens if you download something free off Google Play or something. Yeah, so that's kind of scary. And I know some people, they are trying to do these little crypto wallets of sorts, and they don't really think about what crypto wallet they're using, and there could be a security. That's another thing too. If you lose your coin, it's not like you're keeping it into a bank and it's FDIC insured. So for instance, right, like if you put in money in your bank and then your bank gets robbed, you're going to be able to get that money back, from my understanding, right? Because I think FDIC is like $250,000 or so. But if you have like a Bitcoin, and let's say you have a Bitcoin and your exchange is $35,000, and then some hacker goes in there and takes your Bitcoin and puts it into their own wallet, and it's untraceable, or because there's some really good hackers out there, it's like, who will refund you back your $35,000 Bitcoin? Or is there insurance for that? I don't know. Oh yeah, 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 I heard about that. Yeah, the guy who did the first purchase about the Bitcoin, right? He bought like a $28, $22 pizza or something. That was like early on back in the day. So anyway, I will get going. I will talk to you guys later. It looks like Oreo has been sleeping throughout this whole freaking stream, and yeah, he is hard at work, doing what Oreo Cat does best. Let's see, Oreo, Oreo. Do you have anything to say to your fans? I don't think he does. Yeah, I don't think he has anything to say. So Andrea says, if you don't want to buy Bitcoin, buy a fund backed by Bitcoin. I was looking at, was it GBTC? I think it's Grayscale. I thought that would look pretty attractive because each share was like 43 bucks, and then it's doubled. And then what else was there? I would say that's just my thinking though. I was looking into like Dogecoin because I was like, hey, it's only a penny, and then you got Papa Elon talking about this stuff. So maybe that 1 penny turns into 2 pennies, and then you double your money, or maybe that 1 penny will turn 10 cents or a dollar. Who knows? Oh, what is it? Oh, I'm so sorry, Oriole. I woke you up. Oh, I know. I know you're hard at work. Come here, handsome. Look at that face. Oriole. Oh, jeez. Yeah, that coop. Oh, yeah. Just yeah, that coop was not good. It was just like I was looking into that coop today, and I was like, ugh. But you guys heard about what Trump said about that, and what Pence said about that. I never followed up with the coop after that. The coup after that. I do know I read that one person was shot, but yeah, kind of, I don't know what happened afterwards, but I really hope this kind of stuff doesn't get out of control. If it's I do support that people share their opinions, but once you kind of storm into places or go into places you're not supposed to and charge in there, I have something against that, because I don't think that's peaceful anymore. I think that is possibly confrontational, and then you're putting yourself at risk, right? Because if you're going into a place that you're not supposed to be in, then you might have people who are kind of fearful because they don't know if you're armed or if you're not armed, and then situations can get out of control, especially if it's just more than one person. If it's just like one person, I think security would be pretty confident that they can control hundreds of people or thousands of people. Then possibly people can be fearful of what could happen, what might possibly happen when people storm in, and then they think like, oh crap, what. Yeah, I think it's Dogecoin. I gotta work on pronunciation on that thing, Dogecoin. Okay, you guys, see ya.